Hey guys, George at SoundTraxx here. And one of the questions we get a lot is when you're running multiple units together, the users want to make sure the horn is blowing on whichever unit is actually running as the lead. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to set that up, how you can do that with the Tsunami 2 using the alternate volume mixer. So let's get started. Now, when we're running multiple units, the first thing we want to do is consist the locomotives. And we've talked about consisting. You can see a lot more in-depth discussions about consisting up here in webinar 14. Now, once we have the locomotives consisted, how do we get the lead unit to blow the horn depending on which direction we go? Well, this is where we're going to use the alternate volume mixer. Now, in the Tsunami 2, we have an alternate volume mixer, which is a second set of volumes for all of the individual sound effects. So this is where you can do things. For example, what we're going to do today is allow the horn and bell on one mixer, but mute them on the second mixer. Every other sound you're going to set to be the same. Now, the intent of this feature is so that you can have different volume settings. For example, when you're running at the club or if you're running at home, you can have two different sets of volumes. Because obviously at club, you tend to have a bigger layout, more ambient noise going on, so you want the louder volume. But when you're running at home by yourself, maybe your housemates don't necessarily want that noise cranked up as quite as loud. But we're going to use it today to create a different horn for the lead and the trailing. So first thing what we're going to want to do is we're going to build our consist. Now in this particular case, 6906 is actually the lead unit and locomotive 18 is actually the trailing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have the primary mixer for the 6906 have the horn and bell enabled. But on the secondary locomotive, we're going to disable that horn and bell. So we're going to take the volumes to 0. Now in the alternate mixer, we're going to take the horn and bell volume and set them to 0 on the lead unit, in this case 6906, and then we're going to take the horn and bell volumes in the alternate mixer in the trailing unit and set them to the value that we want. In this exercise, I'm using a value of 200 for the horn and a value of 100 for the bell. Now what we're going to do is the first thing is when we're in the consist, we have to make sure we enable that horn and bell in CV21 in both locomotives. So this is function 1, function 2, and function 3, and then if you use the grade crossing, function 9. So you want to make sure to enable those in CVs 21 and 22. And you're going to do this on both locomotives. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take CV 1.412 or CV 1.412, and on these, we're going to enable that alternate volume mixer to happen when we're in reverse on both locomotives. So in this case, we're going to set this to a value of 10, which is 2 for moving in the reverse direction, plus 8, which is stopped in the reverse direction. So when the locomotive is in the reverse condition, the throttle is set to reverse, that alternate volume mixer is going to auto-enable. Now the key here is we need to enable that in the consist. So CV247, you want to enable both directions, forward and reverse, stopped and moving, and the E-stop. So we're going to take CV247, we're going to set it to a value of 31. Now once I've done all this, I have already pre-programmed this, so we're going to go ahead and unmute these locomotives. We're going to go ahead and show you we're moving in the forward direction. And now you're going to hear the horn that's on the 6906. Now when I change directions, I'm going to go ahead and hit reverse. I'm going to go ahead and move in reverse. So you'll see that I'm in reverse. Now when I blow the horn, you'll hear the alternate horn, and that's the one that's on the trailing unit. Now these locomotives are both facing the same direction. So this is the CVs that we talked about, or how to set this up. Now if I was to reverse the direction of the trailing unit, the only difference you would make is you'll want to enable that alternate volume mixer. Instead of in the reverse direction, you'll want to enable it in the forward direction. So when this locomotive is moving in the forward direction, it will then enable the alternate mixer. You'll leave this one to enable the alternate mixer when it's in reverse. So guys, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at support@soundtraxx.com, or be sure to check out the user's guide for more detailed information. There's a lot of creative things you can use with that alternate volume mixer, so I'm interested to see what kind of thoughts you have in the comments below.